How's it, guys? Welcome back to another installment of Football Gods. I'm your host today, Dogozo. I'm with my guys, Gulle and Gamza. How you guys doing?
Thank you for having us, sir. We all good. And you?
Oh, good.
Chilled, my guy. I'm chilled. I'm feeling it's very hard to feel bad these days as an Arsenal fan, you know? Things are just going our way. So I'm enjoying life. I'm enjoying life.
Enjoy it while it lasts. We must enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, I really hope it lasts a long time because it's not like it's been such a long time, like since like I've felt like this as a fan, just like no stress, because like in as much as I'm an adult, I'm mature enough to understand that okay, football like it's just a sport, as people always say. But I'm not gonna lie, so a lot of the times in the past when Arsenal was shit, it normally affected like my week, whether that was like at school, whether it's like at school or at work, it's like Monday and Tuesday are always like shaky because like these guys pissed me off on the weekend. So now it's like, oh, okay, this is how it feels to just not have stress on a Monday.
Good.
Yes.
It's such an unhealthy relationship that one has with football. We should actually dedicate some time to actually finding out the roots of this. Like it's so weird, right? That you saw for starters, you've been loyal to Arsenal for so many years without winning the league. You forgive them after the end of the season. You have hope the next season. They win, you on top of the world. They lose, but now if a girlfriend dumps you, you know, you it takes long for you to
Yeah.
recover your loyalty to a chick as well. If she disappoints you, it's short lived. So this thing with football, especially obsessively with like we do, must be investigated, eh?
No, you're right. It needs to be explored further, man. Like, we can't be in love with football this much.
Yeah, just be so emotionally
Like,
invested.
bro, it releases certain chemicals in our brains.
Dude.
Clearly, it's actually quite intense.
Hmm.
It really is, right? And I think that's why, like, and I'm generalizing. This is probably why, like, women, I think, and like I always say, because I always have, I don't know about you guys, but I've had many relationships in the past where, like, my girlfriends would always compare themselves to like Arsenal, right? They'd be like, who do you love more? And I'm like, dude, why are you comparing yourself to like a football team? Like, where does that thing, like, you know what I mean? But like, I think I get it as far as maybe they feel like we express more, we express ourselves more, I guess, on an emotional level, like when it comes to like sports, like the highs and the lows, than maybe we do in like a relationship context. I don't know, like, but maybe I'm just getting a bit too deep. So let's just
Yeah.
get into let's just get into the football. Let's just start on the big match of the weekend. Arsenal 3, Liverpool 2. Comes, I'm gonna let you start and give me your thoughts on the game.
Okay. Um, as an Arsenal fan, I'm gonna start speaking about Liverpool's perspective. One, Liverpool still have the firepower. Let's be honest, they have great technical players. Yes, they're struggling with injuries, struggling with form and chemistry, etc. But for Liverpool to come to Emirates and get like 2 goals, in fact, it was almost like a draw at some point. If it wasn't for that soft penalty, which I agree, it is a soft penalty, by the way. And for the first time in a long time, VAR was on our side, which we've never had as Arsenal.
Mm.
But I have to
Twice,
admit,
to be fair.
yeah, twice, yeah. But I have to admit it was a soft penalty because if we had to take the same incident, are you telling me that if an opponent gets touched in the box, touched, because that was just a touch, then it's a penalty? Come on, let's be real. That is definitely no penalty. But however, we will take it because sometimes in life, when you work so hard and create so many opportunities, luck is on your side sometimes. And that's how Ronaldo has been dominating football. He's been working hard, don't get it wrong. Working hard, very skillful, scoring goals, but sometimes he knows that luck played a role because you create your own luck in this game. And that's how the game was going. Everything was going well for Arsenal. Let's be honest, everything was going well for Arsenal.
Nkulego seems like he wants to chime in. Come, Hader, talk. What do you want to say?
No, you'll come in. Let me finish, Nkulego.
Oh, sorry.
Finish.
But I need to give it to Liverpool, man. They gave it their all with all the limitations they have. Klopp realized, you know what, soft penalty. He complained, but he knows at the end of the day, this is football, man. Things like this happen with VAR or without VAR. Things like this happen. And you just have to take it and move on to your next game. That's how you do it. Another point I need to talk about is the fact that Saka was basically non-existent that entire game. People won't agree with me with this one. But he was not impactful at all. But it just shows you that when you're a quality player, you don't have to be impactful for 90 minutes. When you have the talent and like his mentality, you'll just pop up and one day you'll just score a goal out of nothing. And then suddenly you score a penalty. And then suddenly you're a contender for man of the match. And that's just quality players. Whether we like it or not, those are quality players. Ronaldo can have an off 90 minutes. The last 5 minutes of extra time, he can score 3 goals. And then they're going to say Ronaldo's a brilliant player. But that's just quality players and how they perform. But to be honest, Gabriel Martinelli is a gift from God. Klopp knows it. He showed us on Saturday or whatever. It was Sunday. Yeah, he showed us. He's tired. Like he never gets tired. He's attacking, he's defending, he's creating, he's scoring. As a winger, as a whole winger, it's crazy, man. For a kid that's under 23 years old doing such things. And it's unbelievable that he's not even being considered for the Brazilian World Cup squad. It's crazy.
Dude, if they play Richarlison over Martinelli, that will be like a crime, like a footballing crime. Yeah. Not even on like an Arsenal versus Spurs kind of thing. Like I'm not, speaking on that level. I just think Martinelli offers so much more than Richarlison as far as attacking plays is concerned. But I'm really interested now more than ever to see what Brazil's squad is going to look like. But yeah, sorry man, back to you.
And then we also have an unsung hero in the game. Everyone was looking at Saka, Gabriel Jesus, Gabriel Martinelli, Nunes. Nunes was brilliant that game, by the way. Nunes was actually playing well. It's unfortunate Diaz got injured. He was also a major threat. It helped us that he actually got injured. But an unsung hero of that game was Tommy. No, Tommy.
Oh, I thought you were saying right. Okay.
Tommy to be moved from right back to left back, that's your unnatural position. And to go against the best winger in the Premier League in the mold of Mo Salah and keeping Mo Salah in your pocket, that's insane. In your most unnatural position, that's insane.
Tommy also is solid.
Can I ask you something? Sorry, on that point. Do you think, obviously, Tomiyasu was amazing. Do you think that was more perhaps a fantastic decision by Arteta to put a right-footed player on the left because of Salah's propensity to want to cut in on the left? So if Salah always wants to cut on the left, obviously that's towards Tomiyasu's right foot. So it'll be easier to, you know what I mean? Rather force him to go on like wide. I don't know if you guys agree with.
No, it definitely was a tactical decision, and I'll tell you how he experimented. He experimented a game prior to the Liverpool game in the Europa League. He actually played Tommy at left back, and he wanted to see if it actually works, and it did work. And he said, "You know what? I trust Tommy's ability in defending. I'm going to put him against Salah." And it worked. Salah was completely shut. We all know if Salah doesn't score goals, he creates goals. Salah could not even create goals.
That's smart actually. Because think about it now, Tomiyasu loves defending. You can see that for a fact. He's not poor in attack, but now with having someone like Martinelli, who's like an all-out attacker, knowing that you have a base of a nice, defender that's gonna attack back and protect you, it gives you so much more freedom in attack, as opposed to when he defends with Zinchenko. He needs to actually cover for Zinchenko on the wing when Zinchenko moves. Because when Zinchenko, if you notice, he likes moving into midfield when playing from the midfield. So he needs a winger that can track back and sort of like cover for his more of a more attacking. So now Tomiyasu is more plays on the defensive line, and Martinelli now can attack more. Because if you could see on Sunday, Martinelli was all out attack. Like that's why Saka's wing was not working so much, because now the outlook was always on Martinelli's side.
On
He
Trent,
was
right?
he was
Because I just realized Trent is the obvious weakness
mm,
in Liverpool's defense, so they just overloaded like on that side. So yeah, I hear what you're saying.
and Trent as well. Like yeah, I think it's so funny. I think sometimes propaganda is something else, eh? Because like Trent, now that like there's this like all of a sudden like they mention Gareth Southgate says his overall defensive capabilities are less developed than James and Trippier, right? So now all of a sudden, psychologically maybe it plays into him. He becomes like an obvious weakness now. And if you can remember, like he had never needed to defend so much before, and he didn't have to rely on being a great defender. He just needed to, because the press was working, the Liverpool press was working. They had proper press now. He's defensively more exposed. But then again, it almost seems as if like, he's beyond making like a silly mistakes. Like arguably, guys, even Kyle Walker, right? Although he's rated so great, right? But I've seen when Kyle Walker gets put on pressure, how that guys can also be like suspect. Yeah, but because Man City always have the ball, they're always attacking. He has pace that will always help him. Like 9 times out of 10, if you have pace as a defender, you always like, beat the attacker more than ever. But I think Trent is just more exposed, he's not being supported by Salah doesn't defend as much. He likes attacking. So I somehow feel like there is a bit of an agenda against Trent, and
Yeah.
it's
Sorry.
exposing him in the
On
worst.
that point, I was looking for something that I saw on Twitter earlier and I found it. It's basically a stat which I think backs up what you're saying, the issue about agenda. And look, I don't like stats, but I think with context, some of them make sense. So this stat was saying Trent gets dribbled past 56% of the time, which is the exact same as Reece James, right?
But
And right? And people who get dribble past more, so Chilwell is 61% of the time. Okay, Trippier is 53%, Shaw is 49%, right? And then there's
49.
another one that says, Trent gets possession, i.e. wins the ball via interceptions or tackles, whatever, 12 times a game. When you compare Chilwell's 9.4, James 7.4, and yeah, Shaw 7.9, Trippier 4.7. So when you look at stats like that, like it shows you that there really does appear to be an agenda, as far as Trent is concerned. And like obviously now within the context of what Kuleva's just said about, because the press is not as good as it is, it leaves him more exposed than normal. So, his weaknesses, I guess, are a bit more evident. But
Yeah,
yeah, I really think all this Trent hate is very unfair. I
it
agree
is,
with you.
right? Think about it. Gareth Southgate is a defensive coach, like naturally. he'll prioritize more defensive-minded players, so it doesn't play to Trent's strength. And I don't know how he can actually prioritize, defense if he has such a great attacking team and a very good, midfielders that can actually defend. It actually doesn't need to prioritize defense. Yeah, you see, if Trent was Brazilian, it would be like Cafu. Cafu was not the greatest of defenders.
Trent is wild statements. I know. I'm not saying he's on the same level, but Trent is not too different from Dani Alves if we're keeping it 100.
Yeah,
Dani Alves to me is one of the best right backs I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
exactly.
So yeah,
but like we said, right? It depends on the system, and I think Gulega was right. Gareth Southgate's system is defensive, so he is looking for a right back similar to like a Philip Lahm. Remember, that's what he's looking for, not a Dani Alves, which is Trent. And also, let's not forget the reason why he's a bit more exposed at Liverpool at the moment is that one, Salah is no more tracking back. Salah used to track back, so he's exposing Trent. That's one. Van Dijk is getting old. That's the reality. So he can't cover that entire line. Robertson has been injured, and people are not speaking about this. Robertson is a major key player for Liverpool.
Yep.
Yes, he's not the most decorated player or a player that's out there, but he's a very important figure, and it's showing now. Trent has never been a great defensive right back. He's always been a great attacking a right back, and he's been celebrated.
He's a modern right back, like he's a modern back. Yeah,
and he's been celebrated for that. So I don't understand how this got turned in one season. It doesn't make sense.
It's an agenda. Like, I'd rather have Trent than any of those other two. Like, I just know that that guy's gonna cross good for my striker. I'd rather sacrifice a midfielder to cover for him. I know I have another, a weapon. Remember how many chances Alves used to create for Messi and and Xavi and all of those guys. There's no better weapon than an attacking defender. Like, you cannot, have that have it much better than that.
Remember, it's harder to anticipate an attack when it comes from a defender. Because it's literally like coming from behind and cutting across diagonally into the field. It's very hard to defend such passes.
Yeah. Sorry, just one more point that I want to make before we move on to another fixture on the issue of agendas. I just want to point out, ever since someone from Egypt got a new bumper contract, his form has been very, very, very bad. Let's just be frank. But when other players who play for Arsenal, there's a guy from Germany, there's a guy from Gabon who got big contracts, and their form went down, the media was, but now that this guy from Egypt,
Salah. Why are you pretending like you don't know?
Salah.
I mean, who else? Yes. Dude, ever since Salah got this bumper contract, how much is he on? 300K plus or ever much?
400.
That's been poor.
Guys, it's fine. It's fine. Like, I don't know what's wrong with Arsenal fans. They always victimized.
Bruh, there's an agenda let's leave that.
Within reason, like, you guys are victims of your own sort of like self-fulfilling. Like, you guys have cheated, like VAR, whatever. Like, come on, guys, you number one. Just enjoy it. Like,
but it's not. It's not even about that.
It out. We don't have to get into it. It's
not about that. All I'm saying, when players get a contract over 350K and they form declines and they are not in Arsenal and they don't play for Arsenal, the media does not make much of a noise. That's all I have to say.
Factually,
that's all I was saying also.
Factually, it's been proven factually for Arsenal, but they're sick on up. let's
Yeah, no, it's
continue.
fine. Let's move on, guys.
Anyway, one last point about this game. I think in our next video we need to talk about it or find out. We need to investigate. What did Jordan Henderson say to Gabriel?
I've never liked Jordan Henderson. His face and I just don't like it. So yeah, I hope. Well, I'm also very curious to just hear how this plays out. Hopefully for his sake, it's nothing bad, but all the signs are not looking good.
All I'm gonna say, why did all the Portuguese understanding players, Alisson, Thiago, and what's his name?
All the
Firmino.
Brazilians.
Yeah, all the guys that understand Portuguese, why did they, once Thiago told the others, they all went, they pulled a face. So whatever he said must have touched them as well. So what is it?
And is their captain.
Yeah. And when the ref went to the touchline to speak with Arteta and Klopp also pulled his face.
Like what?
What? And I expect Klopp to pull his face, and I don't expect Arteta to pull his face because I know that Arteta is Spanish. Most Spanish people are racist. So they won't see anything wrong with that. But Klopp did.
I wonder what he said.
Yeah. I'm
because
really
I also read what Arteta said. Apparently he said what happens on the pitch stays on the pitch. What kind of manager says that? And then Klopp says the FA will investigate. Do you see the differences? Like for me, yeah. Anyway, maybe Obama Young wasn't wrong about Arteta at some point. But anyway, topic for another day.
Do we bother talking about Man City?
Did Haaland score? Yes.
Obvious.
Did Haaland score a hat-trick? Oh, it's the first time he didn't score a hat-trick. Oh, wow.
He scored one goal.
Haaland
So
was actually
poor.
very poor.
So poor.
Like,
let's rubbish off. Like he's rubbish.
Overrated.
He's overrated. Overrated.
Yeah.